Today we're talking about the co-op games from the year 2000. But first, let's see what else was happening. Diablo 2. The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. The Sims. Jet Set Radio. Paper Mario. Mario Tennis. Banjo-Tooie. Skies of Arcadia. Chrono Cross. And for home consoles, we saw the PlayStation 2, the PS1 model, WonderSwan Color. Now let's talk about the co-op games. Bugs Bunny and Taz: Time Busters is a surprise in the world of licensed 3D platform games, building on the success of its predecessor, Lost in Time. This title takes players on a time-traveling adventure with Bugs Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil Taz, offering a refreshing twist on the usual multi-character platformer formula. With unique and complementary abilities for both characters, it adds depth and variety to gameplay. The game's 30-plus levels, spanning different time periods, are well designed, incorporating classic Looney Tunes adversaries for a nostalgic touch. While the control scheme boasts a wide array of moves that might overwhelm some, it's a minor issue in the grand scheme of things. Visually, the game captures the essence of the animated series, though the occasional jerky camera is a drawback. The true highlight is the two-player co-op gameplay. One player controls Taz and the other controls Bugs Bunny, and you work together to get through the environment. This is somewhat of a rarity when it comes to 3D platformers. Charge and Blast, an exclusive Dreamcast title from 2000, may not have garnered much attention during its time, but it's a hidden gem that deserves a second look. Developed by Sims, this arcade-style Cabal shooter-style game offers a refreshing departure from the era's cinematic juggernauts. Charge and Blast's tight mechanics and straightforward action give it a unique appeal. With colorful visuals reminiscent of Sega's signature aesthetic and cheesy voice acting akin to classics like House of the Dead, it captures the essence of the Dreamcast era. Players choose from a variety of characters, each armed with distinct weapons, providing a dash of strategy to the gameplay. The control scheme, while initially confusing, cleverly circumvents the Dreamcast's limitations. Despite its short duration, the limited credits and challenging encounters evoke an arcade experience, urging players to master its mechanics. Charge and Blast may be an overlooked relic, but for those who embrace its simplicity, it offers a surprisingly satisfying shooting adventure worth revisiting. Another hidden gem on the Sega Dreamcast is Seven Mansions. This is a two-player co-op survival horror game that only came out in Japan. In recent years, though, it received a fan translation. If you enjoy Silent Hill or Resident Evil, but you wanted to be able to play the game in two-player co-op, for many years, Seven Mansions was the closest thing to being able to do that. The game allowed players to search for the missing Dr. Ernest on New Russell Island through 7 unique mansions. And the game has a couple of camera options. You can play it in a fixed mode, where you're both in first-person view in split screen, or you can play it with tank controls from a top-down perspective, similar to Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Unfortunately, this mode doesn't work that well because when you split up, it goes into split screen. That can be jarring, so just stick to keeping it split screen. I've spoken about this game at length a number of times. I can't recommend it enough. Rare's release of the 3D first-person shooter GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64 marked the beginning of a classic, but Perfect Dark quickly took the throne. While based on the same gameplay as GoldenEye, Perfect Dark goes beyond with more weapons, levels, multiplayer arenas, and cooperative missions. The game, starring Agent Joanna Dark, offers intense gameplay and an intriguing storyline involving aliens and government cover-ups. Perfect Dark outshines its predecessor in just about every way. The game's replay value is unparalleled, offering various modes, challenges, and customization possibilities. Perfect Dark is one of the best co-op games on Nintendo 64. Cannon Spike is a lesser-known gem for the Dreamcast that offers Capcom heroes like Mega Man and Cammy in a top-down multiplayer shooter. Set in a dystopian future overrun by terror robots, The game features distinct movesets and special attacks for each character. Gameplay centers on shooting and using combos, while collecting and unleashing powerful special attacks. However, targeting enemies can be challenging, and the health bar system replaces lives. The game offers 10 random order levels with bosses and cooperative play. Graphics are simple but effective, with vibrant character art but plain in-game visuals. Despite its imperfections, Cannon Spike is a fun and unique Dreamcast exclusive worth trying, especially with friends. Gekido attempts to revitalize the side-scrolling beat-em-up genre by bringing it into a partially 3D world, but it falls somewhat short of delivering a deep and engaging experience. The game's main mode, Urban Fighters, offers classic beat-em-up action, where you battle waves of enemies using various attacks, combos, and weapons. While there are many moves and weapons, the gameplay lacks depth, leading to some repetition. Cooperative play is its strong suit. Graphically, Gekido is solid with detailed 3D models, interactive backgrounds, and impressive lighting effects for the time, but it's marred by occasional slowdown and graphical glitches. The sound features standard punch and collision effects, but shines with environmental effects and licensed rock songs that sometimes feel out of place. Overall, Gekido's not one of the best beat-em-ups, but when it comes to 3D beat-em-ups, the bar is not very high, and it's better than most. Metal Slug 3, an iconic side-scroller shooter from SNK. It delivers original gameplay rooted in simple controls and challenging action. Players choose from 4 characters and traverse 5 diverse Neo Geo levels, each featuring unique environments and enemies. The game's appeal rests in its high level of difficulty, demanding precision in movement and shooting skills to overcome waves of adversaries. Despite occasional aiming challenges and minor technical issues, Metal Slug 3's Neo Geo version remains a classic, celebrated by fans of 2D side-scrolling shooters, and many consider it to be the best in the Metal Slug series. Power Stone 2 builds upon the original's charm by introducing 4-player mayhem to its already crazy fighting engine. The game's storyline places fighters in a castle with a series of wild interactive fighting levels and boss fights, elevating the background elements to star status. The graphics, though similar to the first installment, maintain high quality thanks to the Dreamcast Naomi hardware. However, the increased action and strategic depth brought by the dynamic backgrounds make this game shine. Power Stone 2 is a wild and balanced 4-player fighter that surpasses its predecessor, and you can play through the story mode and 2-player co-op as well. Sin and Punishment is a Nintendo 64 Cabal shooter developed by Treasure and published by Nintendo. It only came out in Japan. It offers frenetic action, intense gameplay, and an anime-inspired storyline set in a futuristic world overrun by genetically mutated animal insects. As Saki, a rebellious freedom fighter, you must battle these creatures and corrupted soldiers. Sin and Punishment's gameplay is packed with Treasure's signature style, featuring swarming enemies, abundant ammunition, and intense on-screen action. While the controls may seem complex, the tutorial mode helps ease players into the game. And another option is to split up the controls and play it in 2-player co-op, where one person controls the character and the other controls the shooting. The main downside is the game's brevity, but its addictive gameplay and unique experience make it a must-play on the Nintendo 64. Tales of Eternia, known as Tales of Destiny 2 in North America, is an action RPG published by Namco, released for the PlayStation in Japan in November 2000, and in North America in September 2001. It is developed by the team behind Tales of Phantasia and Tales of Destiny. Set in the fantasy world of Infuria, the game follows Reed Herschel and his friends Farah and Keel as they encounter a mysterious girl, leading them to the realm of Celestia and a conflict between 2 worlds. Gameplay includes navigating an overworld map, interacting with NPCs, and real-time battles using the linear motion battle system. Players control one character at a time while issuing orders to AI-controlled allies, or you can allow your friends to take control of them. The one downside is they can only participate during battles, so the rest of the time your friends are just going to be sitting around while player 1 wanders through the environment. Timesplitters, developed by Free Radical Design for the PlayStation 2, is an arcade-style first-person shooter with a strong emphasis on multiplayer modes. The game features a simple story mode. Progress in the story mode unlocks new content. Multiplayer modes shine with a wide range of customization options, allowing players to create unique death matches with various settings and characters. The game also supports split-screen co-op play for the story mode. Visually, Timesplitters offers sharp graphics and humorous character design, while sound effects and music contribute to the immersive experience, making it an enjoyable and highly replayable FPS on the PS2. Star Wars Episode I, Jedi Power Battles, originally plagued with issues on the PlayStation, made a surprising and significant improvement in its Dreamcast release. The graphical presentation is notably cleaner, featuring higher resolution and better textures, running smoothly at 60 frames per second. Various visual elements, camera angles, lighting effects, and force powers have also been enhanced. When it comes to the gameplay, it plays somewhat like a 3D beat-em-up with some platforming as well. You take control of various Jedis and you go through the story of Star Wars Episode I. The Star Wars prequels are not remembered very fondly, and the video games that were based off of those movies are probably remembered even less fondly, but this is one of the better ones. The Adventures of Cookies and Cream is a unique and enjoyable multiplayer game with an original twist. Playing as two bunnies, Cookie and Cream, you must cooperate to complete each level. The split-screen view highlights the need for teamwork to overcome obstacles and solve puzzles. The control scheme is straightforward, using analog sticks for movement and jump buttons for various actions. Visually, the game adopts a colorful, cartoonish style, complemented by whimsical music. Overall, The Adventures of Cookie and Cream is a forgotten co-op gem on the PlayStation 2 that's worth revisiting. So those are some of the co-op games from the year 2000. What are some that we missed? And if you enjoyed this video, check out our video from last week where we talked about the co-op games from 1999. Thank you for watching.